Hey everyone, this is Miko with the Permit Empire. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. So I am doing just a really quick live video. I wanted to just get in here and kind of talk with you guys. I know it's a little bit late, and no, I didn't say that I was going live today, but I am here nonetheless. So I wanted to just kind of get in here and talk a little bit about the second half of the year. So we've already done the first half of the year. It is now June 1st. We are moving into that second half, and it's time to kind of sit down and assess. Let's look back what worked for us this year so far. Maybe what's not working for us this year. What can we do to improve on those things that are working for us, and how do we move forward, from here? So right now is a good time to look at that. Now, of course, I'm always talking about adding permit running and things pertaining to permit running. But even inside of that, going forward, it's how do you pivot? How do you shift? And like I said, what new things are we looking to do? Or maybe what happened good in this past, 6 months that maybe we can kind of jump on and go a little bit deeper into going forward. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I know even for myself in permit running right now, it's going into the summer months where the gas prices are going to go a little bit higher than they were even before. Like the gas prices are crazy already, but we know when it hits summertime, the gas goes up even a little bit more. So at this point, I've decided, okay, I'm going to do more online permitting instead of going to the building departments. Now, I usually like to go to the building departments because that's a great way to meet people. And of course, I am still going to be going to do some of the permits at the building departments. And some of the building departments, that's the only way they accept permits are in person. So I'm still going to be doing that. But going forward, I am going to be exercising a little bit more of me going online, me submitting permits online. So that way I can even save on the cost of gas a little bit because it's really pricey. It's really expensive to stay, doing things the same way we've always done it. We know at this point, it's just time to take a little bit of a shift, take a little bit of a pivot, do some things differently. And even going forward, I'm going to be more conscious or about how I'm approaching even marketing. Because at this point, the whole goal in business, well, not the whole goal, but what we really should be doing is making direct contacts or direct connections with clients. And a lot of my clients are contractors. So those contractors, once I get that direct connection with them, they are giving me building permits each week or every other week. But it's actually quite frequent because as they're booking jobs, they are giving me permits. So they're giving me work. And there's no middleman. Generally speaking, I'm going directly to the contractors. So even inside of that, I'm going to be, we're really working on building connections. Hey, Robin, how you doing? I'm so glad you jumped in here with me tonight. So nice to see you. Um, but yeah, so I'm going to be just going forward. So, Robin, yeah, I'm just kind of talking a little bit about, going forward this next 6 months. We've got that second half, the first half is down. We're going into that second half, and just kind of like what changes are we going to implement? Maybe what we've done so far that worked. Maybe what we've done that hasn't worked so much, and how we're going to shift. But definitely going forward, I am definitely going to be looking into like building more connections with contractors as well. I have noticed even in the last month or so, over the last hey Sharon, you know what, Sharon, I saw you last time. I meant to comment to you, but hey Sharon, how you doing? So glad to see you in here too. Thanks, Robin. I appreciate it. This is my summer hair because this humidity here in Florida, it's not nice. So I'm doing something. I'm doing something a little different even with that too. But yeah, so I'm looking to build more relationships with contractors. Like I was saying, over the course of the last month, I have noticed even more contractors reaching out for assistance with permitting. And so, like I said, I'm definitely trying to, be more attentive. Even today, I was out at the building department, and I gave a contractor my car. He actually saw the back of my shirt. So he wanted to go ahead and he was like, oh, okay, so you do permits. And he was telling me that he actually has a permit runner, but they are looking to add someone else and that happens sometimes, they'll have one permit runner and they're looking to add another permit runner for a different county. And that's kind of what they were looking to do. And so definitely I was able to give him my card. But what I also like to do is get their number right then and there. I'll get their cell phone number. I'll go ahead and get their cell phone number, and I'll go ahead and send them a text right then and there. So that way I'm making sure I'm able to follow up with them and kind of build that relationship. So that way I'm making sure that, I'm getting that direct connect or that direct contact. And even from what I'm seeing is, even if they don't use me right away, a lot of times they will actually refer me to someone else, to another contractor that they know is in need of the service. So that also is just, a good way to stay to connect to put your business out there. Oh yeah, yeah, Tampa too. Oof, that humidity is not nice down here. So, so you know what I mean. So yes, so just looking forward to it. Like, what are we getting ourselves into this upcoming? For the rest of this year, what are we getting ourselves into? What are we doing? How are we pivoting? How are we shifting? Or what is it that we're going to look into getting into a little bit more? Like I said, I'm always talking about permit running because for me, permit running is just consistent income. It's a consistent income when you get one contractor, and even if he refers you to another contractor, the contractors themselves are always trying to book projects. They're always trying to stay busy themselves. They're always trying to get work. So once you get one connection, you'll be able to get a second connection, and they're keeping you busy each week. They're keeping you steady. I have actually picked up in permits. I have a lot of permits. I actually was just texting with someone now to see if they could come and help me out tomorrow. So I'm going to have someone come in and do some of the runs because, like I said, some of the permits have to actually go to the building department. They have to, like some of the, I know we talk a lot about online permitting. Like a lot of the cities have adopted that completely, and but some have not. Some still have it where you have to come in. And so, like I said, I picked up a lot lately, more recent. I picked up with some of the permitting. So I have someone coming in to help me out tomorrow. But definitely, even with that being said, I'm still connecting. I'm still connecting with more contractors, and I'm going to go ahead and start back to going to some network meetings, some meetups, because I do need to be able to, like, when one contractor is a little bit slow, it's good to be able to have another contractor who has other projects coming in as well. It's good to be able to have, other projects coming in, and that way you can sustain yourself in business. Because a lot of times when we put all our eggs in one basket, we're looking for just one person or one source. That's where we kind of falter. That's where we basically are messing up in that arena. It's good to be able to say, okay, I have a contractor here. I also have, like, now I have like a property management company that I'm starting to work with as well, because they have projects going on as well, and they need someone to even just pull documents from the archive of the building department. And that is right. You have to be able to keep that money flowing. You have to. But like I said, I've started working with a project manager or a property management company. Sorry, property management company. And right now they're in the process of trying to get their insurance. They're doing some work on the building because it's a little bit older and it's kind of on the beach area. So the salt water eats away, at some of the concrete or whatever over time. So they're looking into getting things repaired, and they had to have some of their documents, some of the archive documents with the building department. They just needed to retrieve it. And they called me because they knew I was working with another contractor. They saw that I was working with this certain contractor. We actually were all in an email together. They're dealing with a certain contractor who is actually my client. That client pulled me into that conversation to ask a question, and I responded. And of course, all of my information is right there on my email signature. So she called me, the property management company reached out to me to see if I could also help them with other issues that they're having. And with that, let me tell you, so she called me up, that it was like Tuesday or something. She called me up and said, "Hey, I see that you're familiar with the building department, and this isn't exactly a permit, but I need documents that have been archived for our 40-year inspections. I need all of that information retrieved." And she's like, "It's an emergency. So we need it like today." Now, for me, truthfully, it wasn't a big deal. I was able to go right to the building department, pull those, documents, get everything taken care of. And it's not like I had to physically go in and pull, and no, I basically went in, put my request in, and they went and retrieved all the information for me and gave it to me. And that was a quick $300 one day, one client, really fast. So it's not just about sticking to the one thing that we're always used to or accustomed to doing. We have to get to a point where we are, reaching into other areas, other things, other, positions. There's other things that we can do. And especially a lot of us are notaries already. And that helps us. That gives us that leg into the game, to the arena. That helps us because with that we have like people feel as though we are knowledgeable, and they feel like we are people who can be trusted as well. That stamp, it brings something with it. So we need to be able to utilize that as much as possible. We should be utilizing that as much as possible. Because again, the reason we are here, like for me, I'm going to say, I don't really want to work a 9 to 5. I don't really want to do that. I'm not saying that I couldn't do that. I'm not saying that I've had such horrible experiences. But why, if I'm going to that job every day to make that employer rich or make that employer money, why can't I do that for myself? And sometimes it just takes for us to, like I said, step outside of our comfort zone a little bit and dig into some of those other arenas. Because yes, the first half, a lot of us were, there's a lot of work going on, but you see some of the things are starting to slow down. Some of the signings have gone away. I know for myself, I actually got my home refinanced during that big boom when the interest rates went so far down, but now they're climbing up a little bit. And I was having a conversation with a realtor friend today, and she said what she's doing, because yes, there is a little bit of a slowdown with purchasing. That's what she's noticing. She said, well, what I did is I started picking up more rental clients. I started helping out more in that area. So it's about the shift. It's about how you can pivot, how you can add that extra value and add extra income to your bottom line, because the goal is to stay in business. So going forward, we really, really need to just take inventory of even the skills that we have, the things that we can do. Take inventory of that and see how we can capitalize on that and monetize with that going forward. There's a lot of you have strengths outside of just that one thing that you've been doing in business, and you can really capitalize on that, and you can really dig into that, and you can really monetize that. And that's what we all really should be doing. There's no reason for us not to finish this second half strong. There's no reason for us to lose out on money, lose out on opportunities. We definitely can keep pushing and keep going in. Like I said, I like to talk about permits and that type of thing a lot, because I see that there is a need for it. There are still contractors who are having difficulties with staffing. And so it's a good thing to get into. Like I said, even the property management company that reached out to me, they're having some of the same issues as well. And they see that I can do this. So they're like, okay, I know this isn't exactly what, you possibly do, but hey, can you help me out on this? And they're more than eager to pay. I sent them the invoice before I even went out to retrieve the documents, and they paid me because of course this is something that was an emergency. It's an expedited services. So I was able to charge a little bit more than I would have normally charged for something like that. But it's where we have to also just stay branded. We have to stay out there. We have to make sure that what we're representing ourselves well. Um, I'll say even with my car magnets, I keep car magnets on my vehicle. Right. I was at the gas station yesterday, and I'm pumping gas or whatever, put my gas in my car, and I noticed that there was a guy in a truck right by me also pumping gas, and I noticed that he looked in my direction. No big deal, we're all pumping gas. But then as he's leaving, because I'm still there at the gas pump, and he's leaving, and he walks over to me and hands me his car, and he says, "You're a permit runner, right?" "Yes, I am." He's like, "Okay, I may need your help." But that's because he saw my magnets on my car. So, like I said, it's very important for us, even just going forward, making sure that we are out and we are, center stage, showing this is what we do. This is, even if we're wearing a badge. I know some people don't have like a business shirt, like you dress in a professional manner, and I love it. So it's important to even just like have a badge, some way that people can identify what it is you do without you actually even having to talk to them or tell them what you do, to keep yourself out there. Because again, it's important that, you know this is what you want to do, that you take advantage of all the opportunities that are present for you. And sometimes it's just a matter of looking outside of what you're used to doing and maybe kind of pivoting, seeing what else arena that you can help out in. And you never know how that goes for you. Because for me, I see even an extra $100 can make a big difference when you're in business for yourself, when you're working for yourself. It shouldn't get to the point where if there's like no signings, that you completely don't have anything. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Utilize your services in another area, or utilize your expertise into another area, in another arena. You can still be of assistance and still make money. So yeah, the signings, and I see that so much. I see a lot of people talking about how the signings have come to a standstill or getting really, really close to it. And like it's important, if hey, sure, like I said, there's always a 9 to 5. But if you really want to be in business right now, is the time to assess what went wrong the first half, or what went well the first half. How can I capitalize on that? How can I push forward and monetize that even the more so? Or what else can I pivot into? What else can I get myself into? There's so many, talent. There's so much talent, that you shouldn't just get yourself stuck in one area. In business, that's the other thing. What I have learned about being in business. I started in business in 2018, and I started as an insurance agent. And I know I always say that, but I started as an insurance agent. And when that didn't quite go like I planned, I wasn't making a whole lot of money. Yes, I was making money. Yes, I was making sales, but I wasn't making enough to just sustain. And I had to look outside of the ordinary, what I'm used to doing. And once I looked outside of that, I was able to see, okay, you know, my client needed some assistance. He was telling me about his problems that he was having, and I said, "Hey, let me utilize this. I can help you out there." And that is how I really jumped right into permit running, and even he's referred me to others. And that is how, like I was able to, even inside of that, pivot. I still do insurance. I still, have my license, but I don't keep that as my only source at this point. Hey, Nakona75, how are you? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but how are you? So nice to have you in here in the chat. I know it's late, but I'm glad to see you guys in here. So, but yes, so that was just a matter of, okay, you're not maybe making enough in this area. Let's see, how are we going to shift going forward? How are we going to make this thing work? What additional services are we going to add, or what services are we going to take away? That's another thing that we don't really look at, is sometimes some of the things that we're doing, we can stop doing that and put a little of that attention and focus it on another arena or another area. I actually had a conversation with one of my clients, and my clients are not always the same. It's not always, even with permit running, they're not always asking for the same service. Some are asking for like different levels of service. It's a little bit different. Some just want me to run the permit. Some actually just want me to electronically file their notice of commencement. Some want me to just prepare everything for them. So there's different levels to their services. And I have one client, and I had a conversation with him, and he was telling me, like, he thought that he was paying me for this full service, like, I mean, more than what I normally offer. And I had to tell him, I was like, no, this isn't it. He could not, it wasn't working. And he still kind of demanded so much. And it's like, this is not beneficial for me at this point. It's not beneficial for me. And I had to have a conversation with him, and I let him know, like, going forward, I'm going to close out these projects, but after these projects are closed out, we're going to kind of part ways. We're going to go a separate way here. And he understood after we had the conversation. But a lot of people could look at that and say, hey, well, that's money. Why would you, push that away? But it wasn't worth my time, exactly what he was asking for. And I could utilize that same time for a client who was paying me actually for my time, and actually paying me for the services that I do provide. So that's just one of those things that we have to look at too. Some things that, we kind of outgrow, and it's time for us to pivot, and let's take on some new lanes. Let's move into some new lanes. Let's see how we can go from here and what things we can change. So yeah, I definitely, like I said, I just wanted to get on here and do a quick live. I know it's a little bit late. Um, Robin, you hit the nail on the head. Sometimes you just have to know your value. And I'm sorry, I was going to stop, but you started me back up, Robin, with this one. Sometimes you have to know your value. Like I was telling someone else before, this year I raised my rates. I actually raised my rates at the beginning of the year before the gas prices went up. I wish I would have, I wish I would have known that, but I wouldn't be able to, but I actually went up on my rates because I know that the value I'm providing is worth it. I actually had to look at the services that I was providing, and I had to stop and look at it and say, you are undercharging and you're not going to win this way. This is not how you get to where you need to be. And not that I am like price gouging. No, not at all. But at some point you have to see your value and what you're worth. If people are trying to like give you pennies, how are you going to live off of that? This is your business. How are you going to live off this? This is how you live. This is how you eat. And so you have to really take a look at that. And a lot of people also ask me about pricing. How should they set their rates for permit running services? And it's always one of those things that I kind of shy away from. Yes, I did a video where I addressed it, but I kind of shy away from it because here's the thing. You really need to know your value. What services are, what is it you're providing in your package, in your service? What is it that you're providing? Know your value. Someone was telling me before that they was charging, they charged someone like $50 for permit running services, and looking at the area that they were in, and just kind of checking that out, because I always say what's the gas prices like. I always ask those questions, but I looked at it and I was like, don't charge that again. Like I can't tell you how to run your business, and no, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but please don't charge that again. Like make that the last time you charge $50 for what it is that they're asking you to do. Please don't do that anymore. Don't do that to yourself. You have to know your value. Because even with that, you'll go out of business. You have lots of business, but because you're priced so low, you will actually go out of business. You won't be able, like you'll be nonstop working just to make enough money to pay your bills, the basics. So no, you need to know your value, and you need to charge accordingly. Oh, Sarah, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see your let's see. Yes. Okay. I'll in a future video, I'll kind of break down how I assess my fees. I definitely will. Yes, I'll definitely do a breakdown kind of how I assess my fees. Because I understand Nakona 75, I get it. Like that's one of those things that you can struggle with. So I understand, and that's the reason why I actually went ahead and said how much I think you should charge, between 100 to 200 depending on your area, the demographics, all of that good stuff, but nothing less than that. Like I said, someone told me they charged $50. I was like, don't do that again. Do not do that again, because even for myself, I'll have a contractor who will give me, let's say he gives me 3 permits at one time, which happens. That happens all the time. That is basic. That's it. That's real basic. One contractor will give me 3 permits, one shot, one time. That happens all the time. I don't charge him, oh, I'll charge you 150 for the first one and then 25 for each additional. I don't do that. I don't do that. What if something happens to where, oh, I have to come back and do another run for the second permit because, he forgot this or he forgot. No, no, no. It's one fee. It's one fee per permit. That's how I charge. And like I said, I'll get into that more on another video, Sarah. I'll definitely get into that a little bit more because I get it. I get it. That's one of those things that you kind of struggle with. But you, even inside of that, you have to know your value. You have to understand it. I had one client one time. I was at the building department, and I started talking to 2 guys about permits, 2 different contractors about permits. At the same time, we're talking to each other, and we're all at the building department together, right? One contractor says, "Oh, that's your rate? Okay. I'm going to call you for the next permit I have. I'm already here for this one, but I'll call you for the next one." And he did. Still my client. The other contractor said, "That's what you charge? Oh, you must drive a Mercedes because that's crazy. There's no way I'm paying that." He did call me because he needed the help. He still did need the help. But even in our conversations, he started trying to like haggle me down. And I politely declined. because I understand what this is worth. I understand what I need to make. I understand, like I'm not trying to work myself into the poorhouse. So I understand, I need to put a value on this. How many miles am I driving? How much gas am I using? How much time am I putting into this? How much effort am I putting into this? What all is it that you need from me out of this service? Do you need me just to run that permit? Do you need me to prepare that permit? Do you need me to fill out the permit application for you? What is it that you need from me with this service? So there's more that kind of goes into that, but I definitely, like I said, I this year I went up on my rates at the beginning of the year, and if I didn't do that already, I would surely be doing it now with the gas prices looking the way they are. But yeah, I had to even do that. So going forward, my clients that I'm trying to pick up now going forward, I'm definitely not going to have them at the rates that necessarily I started the year with. I'm going to make sure that I'm finishing off stronger, or I'm making sure that I am charging accordingly. Like I said, I'm not price gouging. I'm not doing any of that, but I know how much this is worth. I know the value behind this. I know what I am doing for your business as well. I understand what I'm bringing to the table. So I'm making sure that I charge accordingly. No, Sarah, $55. I don't even know where you are, Sarah, but I can tell you $55 you shouldn't do. Um, Okay, so you have one that pays you hourly, and then to submit online and notarizing potential that wants me to do everything. Okay, so here's the thing I'm going to say. Your hourly is not going to be the same as like one that wants you to do everything. You are going to charge accordingly, because I'm going to say with hourly, I don't know if you're actually going to the building department, back and forth to the building department, or if you're doing that just online, but your hourly rate is not going to be the same thing as if you are going out spending money on gas. Like, because I don't know if you're on his books and he's making sure that you're covered with, everything. But when you're going out, you have to almost look at it like, what's your hourly, what's your gas, what's your mileage, what's the repairs to your vehicle. You have to consider all of that, factor all of that in when you're setting your rates. Robin, I'm sorry, I'm looking at your question. An online permit for electricians. On a basic level, how long does it take to process a permit application online for electrician? 5 or 10 minutes, maybe. It doesn't take much at all. I work with electricians as well. So, and those are, I did a video about like the easiest permits to get into, and electrician was one of them. I mentioned in that video because it's quick. The building department doesn't look for like too much when it comes to submitting those permits. They usually want like an application and some type of layout showing where the electrical work is or the box is being placed. And a lot of times those electricians are subcontractors. So you're really just adding it to another permit. So those are good ones. Those are quick and easy ones to do. Sarah, in Ohio, no. 55, no. Yes, yes. And I do have contractors as well who give me everything filled out. They'll even have it notarized. Like some of them, I don't even have to notarize things or whatever. They give it to me everything. They give me everything. And so I'm just charging for a running rate. But if I am going into where I'm filling out things and I am getting things prepared and I'm making copies like I do a lot, or I'm talking to the engineer, or people in the project, maybe even the homeowner, if I'm talking to the homeowner as well. Oh, no, no, no. I'm charging additional. And that is when you really have to look at, I guess, your area too, how much time it takes you to kind of get where you need to get. You have to see, are you notarizing their documents? Because you're charging additional for that as well. Nakona 75, that's good. Let me see. I don't know where you are, Nakona 75, but no, at least that's good, because like I said, I know a lot of this is online, so that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's actually pretty good. Oh, you're in Palm Beach. You're in my area. So yeah, no, that's actually pretty good. I'm not even going to say anything about that, and especially with the fact that I know like Palm Beach County, those permits, all that unincorporated stuff, it's all online, and they make it really easy. Like it's pretty simple. So no, that's actually not bad at all. Like I said, I'm aware of like how that goes. I don't know if you saw I don't know if you follow me on like Instagram, but I was like in Delray the other day. But yeah, it's very easy. So that's you're actually doing pretty good for that. So you just build up your clientele and you're doing pretty good with that. And as you do, like I don't know if you're doing the notice of commencements as well, but you can charge additional for that if they need you to do that, or you just let them know, hey, I do provide that service as well. And then you start doing that as well, and you can charge additional for those notice of commencements. Because that's what I do as well. I'll go in because with Palm Beach, I know they need it certified. So you go in to the courthouse, you go ahead and knock those notices of commencements out because those ones you can't do online when it comes to like Palm Beach County. So you knock those out and then you can charge them additional for that, no problem. That DC, Maryland area, I know good and well that you should be charging pretty good for that area. Ah, you went to Delray today. Yes, yes, yes. I'm in Delray a lot. I actually met a potential client there yesterday. We sat outside and talked for a while about his project. So no, that's also a good place to meet people as well. So definitely, if you might want to make sure that you have on something that can identify that you're doing permits, because I've had a couple conversations there with different people. So it's a good place to also meet people. I will say that. But yes, Robin, you're in a good area. You don't no, we don't need you charging nothing too low because you're in a good area, and I believe they're doing a lot of work there, so you should be good to go. Yes. But yes, so there's so many different things. There's so many different things, so many things that you can do, like the e-recording. With the e-recording, like the notice of commencements, different things like liens. I filed a lien this week as well. Yesterday, I did a lien for a contractor and it was an electronic recording where he had a client who did not want to pay him for his service, but they were trying to sell their house. And this is where it can kind of come in good too when you're dealing with realtors as well, because I deal with realtors too. But he was trying to sell his house, and he needed to, the customer was trying to sell his house after he's already done the work and he hasn't gotten paid for it. And he's like, can you just file a lien again, on their property? And I was able to do it really quick because it's electronic filing. You don't actually have to go into the courthouse to file those things. And that's another service that you could also be providing. You could add that to it, electronic recording. Some of the things that can be done in the courthouse can now be done electronically. And literally, to record that lien, 3 minutes. 3 minutes of my time to record that lien. Once it's out there, they send it back to me. I have it to where they update me in the email to say, hey, it's been recorded, the lien's been recorded, and I was able to forward it right to him with a bill. That's it. It's stuff like that that's really quick that you can get into that you don't even realize that is available for you to get into, and you can add those services right to your existing business. Definitely all of those electronic filings. Don't look at it as a lot of people I think are looking at it like, oh, why would someone need me if everything's done online electronically? Why do you need me? They still do need the help. They still do need the assistance. They still do need that help. And they're still willing to pay you for that assistance. So definitely, like, sure, permit running may not be the thing for you. Granted, may not be, but there's different things out there that you can still get your hands on. Take that lien that I was just saying that I filed yesterday. I also had to notarize that. You charge for that. You charge whatever your state allows you to charge, but you charge to notarize it, and then you charge to record it. Same thing with the notice of commencements. Sometimes, like I have one client, he actually that's why I was in Delray. So I had to go meet with the property managers and have their signatures notarized. You charge for that. And then I had to do the notice of commencement. You charge for that. So there's just different things. Like I said, going into the second half, let's be proactive. Let's be intentional about like what else. Let's start looking at what else we can start doing. What else can we start adding? And that way, hey, we can stay in business and we're not just dependent upon one basket, because that's when you get yourself in trouble. Now, I do not want to keep this going too long because it is late. And I said I was only jumping on here for a quick minute. Robin kind of got me started up, and then you guys started talking to me. And I can talk. So I'm not gonna keep you guys any longer tonight. I'm so thankful that you guys jumped on here with me. And I will definitely do another live chat, and I'll definitely do another video where we can kind of talk a little bit more about pricing, and go back and forth with that. Again, thank you so much for chit-chatting with me tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you guys again, and I look forward to just talking with you again soon. All right, and I hope everyone has a good night.